Pubcast Live. I'm Ken Thomas, along with Thor. Pubcast Live is the podcast where we celebrate America's love affair with bars, pubs, and breweries. This is episode 4. Mankind has been enjoying libations for over 10 million years, so we may be a little late to the party, but it's happy hour somewhere. Today's program should be a lot of fun. We have a very interesting guest that will be joining us.
Yeah, we do.
In one of the, I'm going to say, smaller clubs that you will find.
That's right. But it's something so cool about how small it really is. I mean, you climb in there and it's fun. So
yeah, absolutely. So we'll be talking with Rob Lewis from the 9th Street Social Club. Got to be fun to talk a little bit about the dynamics of having a small bar.
yeah, I mean, it's just so personal and social and close that it's got its own challenges, I'm sure, but it's got its own just unique things that are so fun.
Another one of the places that you and I have been to a few times and just always had a good time there.
Yeah,
too.
it was like I say, it's super social and it just feels great. Not only that, me and you and a dog named Glen. I'm just going to give a little heads up. Okay?
I like
so
that.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, I like that. To heck with Boo. We're working with Glen on this one. The other thing that I think we'll be able to talk about a little bit with Rob, too, is the marketing that he has brought to a theme. We won't give it away here. But he came up with a theme for his bar, and he's really run with it as far as marketing, and I'm really impressed with what he has done.
Yeah, and his customers, that they latch on to that, and it means something to them, and it's a way they can show their support, and we'll talk a lot about that with them, too, I'm sure.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, he also prides himself as a little bit of a chemist, let's say, with all the bottles that he has to work with there, those
That's
chemicals
right.
behind him.
Like a mad scientist, he doesn't even open the door till 3, and that's all he's doing from like 8 a.m. to 3.
Yeah, beakers, Bunsen
Yeah,
burners.
I've seen his hair.
He doesn't have that. Yeah.
And I've seen his hair; it's all frizzled up, and he's got a beard. And
lab coat.
yeah.
No, he has none of that, but he is quite a mixologist.
The other thing is, if you go on their Facebook page or something and check them out, this guy has a smile that will just knock you right over.
Yeah.
And it's the same smile every time. I looked at every picture; it was the same dang smile. It's almost like it's the same guy every time.
All right. Now, we should be sampling a drink before this segment with Rob, and we'll have to ask him next time before we do this about a specific one of his cocktails that we could try here.
Sure. It's a good idea.
It's too late for this show. What were we thinking?
We weren't.
All right. Well, I think it's time we get to the interview with Rob, and we'll do that in just a moment. We remind you that Pubcast Live is brought to you by Giovanni's Frozen Pizza. Great frozen pizza with over 20 varieties. Plus, they have cheese bread and really good. Now, it's available in bars all over the upper Midwest. Make sure you ask for it by name. That's Giovanni's Frozen Pizza. Our guest today is Rob Lewis from the 9th Street Social Club, a bar in downtown Brainerd. First of all, Rob, welcome to Pubcast Live.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So let's start a little bit with describing your bar. We've been there. I'm going to say it's one of the more compact bars that I've been into.
It's like
Social.
a shoebox. Yeah, it's not real big.
Yeah.
And that was my thought when I bought it, because I work my bar, and if you get into these big places, it's really tough to, kind of control and serve the proper way. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and every time I've been there, it's been just packed, except for recently, and that's because of the
There's some
COVID
restrictions
rules,
now.
but
You bet. Yeah.
Previous to that, I walk in there, and you have got a lot of people in there.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's very humbling to see the support from people.
Yeah. What I would say, though, is you and I went in there kind of early last time we were there. It was about 3, just after you open at 3 daily.
Yep.
And it was awesome. I mean, we walked right in and got a table. It's so cozy and comfortable, a lot of fun. And then as we sat there, people started to come in. But yeah, even if it's packed, it's social, isn't it?
It's very social. Very social. That's kind of the whole theme of things. Get off your phone, ask somebody how they're doing.
Yeah.
Strike up a discussion, and it's pretty hard to hide there. So, there's not a lot of places.
Good point. And we've said for years on this show, or for weeks, because we're not that old, but we've talked about the fact that bars are about being social. You go out to a bar to meet people, gather with friends.
Mhm.
It's all about
Yep.
being social. It's not about the drinks. They're secondary, but they make it fun too.
They do. Yeah, they absolutely do. It's interesting in the past, 8-10 years when you see the younger clientele come in and they sit down at a table of 4 and they're all on their phones and it's like, hey,
Yeah.
let's talk to each other. How you
Yeah.
doing?
How you doing?
Yeah.
Let's be social. Let's not stare at our
You can't invite
devices.
anybody else in. We're
Speaking
there.
of be social, I mean, that is your slogan, isn't it? I mean,
It is.
That's
It
the
is.
slogan.
And originally it was going to be Get Social, and then I was driving north and I saw this big sign at the sidetrack, and
Yeah.
it said "Get Sidetracked." And I thought,
Oh.
shoot, what do we do now? And it's the best thing that happened.
I think I like be social better.
Well, I
it's great.
like it way more, and
Yeah.
it really works with what we're doing.
Yep.
Did you consult a high school English teacher on that, or just go
Nope,
with a
I
gut
just
feeling?
garnered in my Roseville education and said, let's do it.
Well, it turned out well.
Yeah.
And describe your bar too, because even though we said it may be compact, it's very nice.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is. It's. I would call it a very polished dive bar. The only light is the door. So, and I do like that aspect of it too, but it's, I don't want to call it upscale by any means, but we do some really fun cocktails, old fashions, Manhattans, and then well beyond that, just some really fun stuff, and draws people in, and it's town prices. It's not lake prices. It's not city prices.
Right.
It's affordable to come in and have a good drink.
That's right. Let's talk about that. The 9th Street Social Club is right 3 blocks from the old water tower, just 3 blocks east
Yep.
of the historic Brainerd water tower. It looks like a big flashlight standing up on end or whatever.
I'm by the one that works, the water tower.
There you- oh, yeah,
that's
that's right.
That's
He's
right on my
The
front door.
functional
Yeah,
water tower.
and you're right at
Yeah.
the base of a water tower,
Yes.
too. So when you're in Brainerd, just go a few blocks east of the big old water tower and then look for a water tower that looks like it might actually hold water.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
just go back 100 feet west.
Yeah. There you go.
You guys wrote that down, didn't
And,
you?
and you'll notice when you use the restrooms, best pressure in town.
Yeah,
It's
there you go.
unbelievable.
You're right by the water tower.
Proximity.
Yeah. Cavernous restrooms.
You have a bar that wraps almost half of the wall space.
It does. It takes up the east and the north wall,
Mhm.
and there's only one outlet. So it, being a small place, and every place I've ever been at a bar or pub, it seems people congregate at the end of the bar. So sometimes getting out there to serve is a little challenging, but
And
it makes it cozier.
I would say this. I'm one of those guys who probably has always been a little, not freaked out, but a little, the thought of going to a really small bar or a cozy place like that maybe isn't the first thing I would think of. But when I went in there, I immediately got it. It's so intimate and close and fun. And I'm standing right there with you guys. And I was right next to other people I didn't know, but it was, like you said, it's very social.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great
Thank you.
feeling.
Appreciate that.
I think that closeness brings out the social aspect.
Yeah.
of it. Like you
Yeah.
say, you're
Yep.
you're right next to somebody. You might as well talk to them and meet your neighbors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, I want to talk about those cocktails, though. Can we go there
wait,
first?
We're
okay,
gonna
you're
finish
jumping.
the social thing here first.
Oh.
You're next with that.
Okay,
but
all right.
You turn that "Be Social" slogan into a bit of a monetary facet for you.
It's worked really well, and I really appreciate the people, liking the simple slogan on the "Be Social." I usually take the "O" in social and do something with
Right.
it. I'm wearing a shirt that's got a dartboard on it.
I see
That's
that.
my dart shirt. But you can do a lot of fun stuff with it, and we had a lot of fun and sold a ton of shirts during the first lockdown, which was much needed.
Mm-hmm.
It helped us get through it a little bit, but we came up with a shirt that said "Be Social," and underneath it said "From a Distance," and we had a little mask over the, emoji, the emoji mask, and they shipped to California, Texas, New York,
Yeah.
the Metro, and a bunch locally.
Listen, Rob, I saw that last night on your Facebook page. I was doing a little pre-show show prep,
Yep.
and I have notes here. That's one of my notes. Is that "Be Social from a Distance" was just crazy cool, and it was fun to see people sharing these photos from their homes or wherever they were, but they were from a distance,
Yep.
and it was a great message. It was a great way to still be social. We're all hanging out together, but we're just hanging out alone.
Yeah, it was
If
a
that
very
makes
humbling
sense.
response. It was very
Yeah.
nice.
And in your bar on the huge mirror along the that would be the west wall, I
Yep.
believe. Yeah, you've got that on the mirror, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Be social.
That mirror in itself is an amazing story. It used to be on the south wall. We're doing a lot of directional things here, guys.
Yeah.
But there was a pool table in the middle of this bar. There's a pool table.
kidding.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I got rid
I
of.
think
I'm
I
like,
remember
"It's-
this many years ago.
So that mirror has been hit about 4 or 5 times off breaks with cue balls and
Oh,
other
sure.
balls, and it's still standing. So
Wow.
Wow.
yeah.
And so you mentioned you've got a dartboard substituting as the O
Sure.
on the shirt you're wearing.
Yep.
What are some of the other O substitutes, if you will, in
Well,
Be Social?
We we did a little fundraiser and for Smiles for Jake. Eric Hopajoki's a good friend of mine, and so we subbed in the Smiles for Jake logo on the O.
Yep.
We've done many
I think I saw
different
Vikings,
variations. Be Scotial.
Scotial,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. I
we
saw it.
switched that.
There was a plaid one. There's all kinds of.
Yeah, and it's just really a fun thing. You can anything you put in there.
And any of our listeners can go to Rob's Facebook page there. It's just
9th Street Social
9th
Club.
Street Social Club
Yep.
on Facebook, and you'll see all kinds of pictures of the great hats. Oh, the hats too. The women are. I've seen the hats, those stocking caps, and they're just crazy. My wife is nuts about them. I'm gonna sneak one in for her. She won't know it.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet.
And
Yeah, they went over very well.
And I got to be honest with you, I think that could possibly be the first piece of merchandise from a social club or a bar that she'll ever have, and she's going to love it. So it'll be
Perfect.
cool. Be a lot of fun.
Wow.
Wait, I
My
just
wife
kind of gave
buys
that away, didn't
stuff
I?
all the time. Yeah.
Wait, honey, that's
Happy
why she
birthday.
listens to these damn shows.
Happy Valentine's
Yeah,
Day.
Valentine's Day. I got a red or a pink one, buddy.
That's okay. This is only going out on the internet. Nobody's going to hear it.
Before we get to some of the specialty cocktails, are there some dynamics about working in a compact bar like that you like?
It's just, it really brings everybody together. One thing that I should have done during the lockdown was get some acoustic panels in there. It gets a little loud. I have hard surfaces.
Yeah.
So that's a challenge where people start talking over one another. They're having fun,
Yeah.
but it's just, the dynamics of the small place are you can touch base with everybody. Nobody gets lost in the shuffle. Some of the bigger places, I'm not jealous of their expenses and their overhead and whatnot. So,
Right.
especially with like the lockdown and stuff, it was kind of built for a lockdown.
Yeah,
Because everything's so fixed and we don't have employees, and
that's right.
so
That's right.
there's just a lot of advantages of a little place.
And those of you driving up, if it's right now, it's just lovely. It's like 9 below zero outside, but hey, soon enough, it's going to be those lovely spring and summer days. And if you happen to be one of those people driving up through Brainerd or coming this way, swing a couple blocks off the main drag, find the 9th Street, and I noticed you had some little tables and chairs outside there too.
We do. We have little pub tables, excuse me.
Yeah.
On the sidewalk.
And it looked just great. It was just super cozy. You could swing in there and have a quick little cocktail on your way anywhere and visit and say hi to them.
Let's talk a little bit about these, if you will, artisan cocktails.
Nice word usage.
Yeah. Well, listen, I noticed something too. You have one called the Artist. It's like it had a sign that looked like the Prince.
Yes.
What is that, like the drink formerly known as a screwdriver, or what do we got there? What is that?
Well played, sir. Tattersall came out with a shelf-stable cocktail that's named Purple Rain, but it's REIGN. So I'm sure
sure.
So they didn't have any violations and whatnot.
Right.
And I'm a big Prince fan, and so we called it the Artist, and I put a little twist on it.
Yeah.
And it's one of our best-selling cocktails.
So, are you allowed to describe that to me, or will you have to have me killed after the show if I find out?
Divulge the recipe to the millions of listeners to this
Millions.
podcast. We never exaggerate on that.
That's
show.
right. No.
Yeah.
Well, it's a vodka-based cocktail with a blueberry cordial, and I add some fresh squeezed lemon juice and a little simple syrup and shake it up.
Yeah. All right.
Do you like to tinker behind the bar and make your own drinks, if you will?
I do, but it drives my wife and one of my guys that helps me out crazy because they'll say, "Can I get the one that Rob made me the other day?"
Uh-huh.
Well, I didn't leave a list,
Yeah. Well, what brilliant artist does? I mean,
Yeah,
they just
that's
create, right?
So yeah, I make a lot of different stuff, and I take pictures of every place I go of their drink menu
Sure.
just to have some ideas, and there's so many drinks out there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's so many of the same drinks that have so many different names too. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really changed a lot, hasn't it? I mean, it wasn't that many years ago. You'd go in, you'd either have a beer or maybe a rum and Coke or something like that.
Yeah.
And now it's just it's super crafty and really fun. And it's not like you could have just one of these and you're great. It's just like you say, sometimes it's like a meal. It might even be that one sounded really good, like almost like a dessert in a glass, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have a signature drink at the 9th Street Social Club?
The signature drink is our Social Bee. So it's a gin cocktail with honey simple syrup and fresh lemon juice. And it's just a play on the Be Social. And the honey in there, we call it, the Social Bee. So that's the one that we probably make more of than anything.
Sure.
Wow.
And a lot of people come in for Manhattans, Old Fashions, gin fizzes. We can do anything. I have a lot of high-end liquor.
Yep.
And a bunch of cheap stuff too.
It's
but some of the stuff you need to make some of these different cocktails.
Yeah.
We have pretty much everything in stock. So
yeah, I was always pretty much a beer drinker, but I discovered Old Fashions, and that's actually something I really enjoy.
That seems appropriate for you.
Yeah, really.
Such a proper gentleman.
Yeah, boy.
No, he's just old.
Whatever.
Yeah, just old.
I got nothing. I got nothing there. I was gonna say I'm rubber, you are glue. Whatever bounces off me sticks to you.
He's old but lacking fashion.
Yeah, there you go.
And for the younger folks, it seems to me shots are kind of the thing, or
they
maybe
are.
I'm wrong.
No, shots are a real big deal, and it is usually the younger crowd. And there's just a million different shots. I mean, there's just so many.
Yeah.
So many you could make. And that's really the thing where people come in and they order something and it's completely known by a different name.
Right.
It's once you do it for a little bit, you find out what's going on.
So now we're talking about shots and things. Sometimes a listener will say, "Oh, that sounds terrible," but you got responsible people coming in there too. I mean, they're being careful about it, and of course, you're always
responsible
super
people,
careful.
and we're very responsible in how we serve. And
you behind the bar, but also I bet you've noticed that with these kids come in. I know when my kids go out, there's always somebody who's kind of really low key and there's sure that
always a driver, which wasn't the case before, and that's just one of the greatest things to see.
It is. It's fabulous.
They get a little puppy doggish. No, it's my turn to drive. So,
that's right.
I'm like, I support it.
And we should. I mean, as bars, you should, because
absolutely
they're out having a great time. But we all know that can go bad if everyone's doing that. So
correct.
I love that. I love that.
And I was going to say, I have young adults as my kids too, and I know one thing: they will never drive after they've been drinking. They take Lyft, they take Uber, they call a cab, they have a friend. It's just something that has changed dramatically over the last 20 years or so, and I think it's the best thing ever.
I think so too.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, and that means a lot coming from you. I mean, you own a bar, and that's great because, like you say, you're there to have fun, be social, but you're not there to be dumb. And
enjoy within your limits.
Yeah, that's right. Good. Good.
Talk more about some of the you talked about your signature drink.
Sure.
Do you sell more beer or mixed drinks at your bar?
I sell a lot of Summit, a lot of Coors Light. I try to keep one thing about my craft cocktails that I should bring up. I'm a big Minnesota guy. Like I don't cheer for teams outside of Minnesota. I don't care. There's athletes I like. But I'm a Viking, North Star, Wild, Gopher, Loons, Timberwolves, Twins guy. And I absolutely love sports, but I try to use the local distilleries, Tattersall out of Minneapolis. We use Panther out of Osakis. There's some places up in Halleck. We use Vickery out of Duluth. And I try to do that in the craft cocktails to keep as much Minnesota as I can in it.
That's great.
So, it's just a fun part of it.
That's another part of the entire industry that has changed, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
30 years ago, these places didn't exist, and now you've got all these great local places to purchase
and I'm so
from.
sorry. I should have also mentioned Five Rocks, which is new and up and coming, and they have great custom cocktails. A great place for anybody to go and check them out. Nice people that own the place.
You know what, Rob?
I think stock their product.
I think we're going to have them on.
You should.
We're going to have them on sometime coming up soon.
People.
Yep.
Yeah, and we should add they are local, as in Brainerd.
Yep, and I stock their product on my shelves, and I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. We were talking about your drinks there. I did see a picture of a Bloody Mary that just blew me away a bit. It said something about a trail mix in there. What is that all about?
Trail mix is so the trail mix is just a meat and cheese deal that I get from Von Hansen's.
Gotcha.
So I skewer
make a Bloody Mary and skewer it in, throw it in. It looked just
Bloody
great.
Mary.
Yeah, it looked awesome. We like Bloody Marys here. We also have decided we like margaritas.
Margaritas are fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm more of a scratch margarita guy.
Okay. What's the definition of that for someone?
I just don't use a mix.
Okay.
Yeah. I just use juices, fresh lime juice.
Wow. Well, there you go.
Some orange juice. Yeah. It's fun. That's the stuff you can play with.
The artist formerly known as Rob.
Yes, sir.
He's already given me about 4 reasons to stop by again.
Yeah, that's right.
To try these things
That's
out.
right.
But I really think that's cool. And you mentioned Von Hansen's. That's another local place here. Or at least we have one of their stores here in the Lakes area. So.
Yep, and we do have a limited food license, so you can get a wonderful pizza when you come in as well.
We always ask, what about the food that you serve there?
Sell a lot of Giovanni's frozen pizzas, the cheese bread, jalapeno cheese bread.
Perfect. That's that's our sponsor.
Yeah,
yep. Awesome.
Nope. And it's the best one out there, and I'm not saying that because I'm here. Long time, it was the best pizza in Brainerd.
Yeah.
For a very long time.
Cool. How about, do you have snacks too? Popcorn and that type of thing?
Yep, popcorn, peanuts, pretzels again from Von Hansen's. They have a nice selection of different flavors and whatnot. So
let's talk about something maybe some of our listeners or some of your regulars don't know about, Rob. Do they all know like where you came from? How did you end up at the 9th Street Social Club?
Well, I ended up in Brainerd because my wife, Erin, is from the area.
Yeah.
And I met her at a grocery store, Byerly's down in Roseville, where I grew up. And she was a cashier, and I stocked shelves there. And didn't stock her, the shelves. So there's a good ending to that story.
Yeah.
And we've been up here maybe 25 years. So Erin's from Brainerd, Megan's from Brainerd, Max is from Brainerd. I'm not. But this is home.
Yep.
I mean, it's
yeah. Well, you've been here many years because those are our listeners. We interviewed, we had Sheps on 6th on here, and you actually worked for Shep for many years.
I worked for Shep when I was in the very stressful car business. I would go there to relax, if you will.
Sure.
And I was fed up one day, and he had a gentleman quit, and I just said, "Can I make a little bit of money here?" You know? And he goes, "I want to talk to you tomorrow."
That's
and
perfect.
we did talk the next day, and I quit a couple days later at the car dealership.
Yeah. Good.
And I had a good job. You know, I ran the Nissan dealership for about 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And Shep, he's just a legend. He's a great guy to work for.
Yeah.
Great guy.
And you never looked back, did you?
I didn't. I got a little nervous at a couple of times just because of comfort, but
right.
I'm not. I don't want to play on the social thing, but I'm not afraid of people. I like people generally.
Yeah.
And I like talking to people, so it's a pretty easy job.
Yeah.
I can sell you a $6 drink instead of a $30,000 car pretty easy. So.
Yeah. Hey, so you worked at Shep's. Then how did you get the 9th Street Social Club? What was it before you came along?
It was called the 9th Street Bar, and it was owned by Shirley Schrommel, wonderful lady. And like I said, the pool table took up most of the space in there, but I would stop there because I could go in there and just have a quick drink and, not run into anybody if I didn't want to or, and I just was thinking this is a perfect space. And then I heard she might want to sell, and she had a few people inquire, and I said, well, no, I'm serious.
Yeah.
And it was really, it was harder to leave Shep's than it was to leave the car business to go to Shep's.
Sure.
Because he was a good guy to work for.
Yeah.
And, it's a great crowd.
But just so you know, I mean, when Shep is here, the same thing. He speaks very highly of you. It's not there's nothing there, and you speak highly of him and other bars in the area. It's like you all got to work together. I mean, it's all.
The wonderful thing is we share the same customers for the most part.
Yeah.
And it's just funny because the same happy hour crew. We're seeing Annie today. We're seeing Rob today, and then Rob goes to see Ann, and Ann comes to see Rob. And
That's right.
It just really works out. And there's a bunch of other wonderful places downtown too, but my heart is, it's where I grew up in the business.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what I mean. You head down to a place like this, like 9th Street, and you're going to be, it's just social. It's a good feeling. So yeah.
Do you have a secret to your success at the 9th Street Social Club, in your opinion?
I'm always there, and I work my bar. I think that's the secret to any good bar. You have to work your bar. You have to know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'll complain about it often, but I missed it when we were shut down. I'd go down there and clean a 2-foot segment and then go back the next day and do it again. And another 2-foot segment.
I mean, it was a weird time. It was a weird time. And we were all following everybody on, Facebook and wherever we could. So,
I understand why. It just wasn't, it wasn't good for any of us financially, but we're still here. So let's go.
And the one industry that just really got clobbered is exactly what you're in. I mean, that's and still you're having to close at 10 yet today. And some people we've interviewed actually kind of like that. And
I love it in the winter, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
There you go.
Because like last night when I left, it was, 14 below and nobody needs to be out.
Nobody needs to be 2 o'clock
My sleep
in the morning.
has increased.
There you go. Well, you look
but,
good.
But when it all gets back to normal, you'll like that too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll go right back wide open, and that's going to be a great day. It's going to be a really great day.
No doubt. We've asked this question of a lot of our guests. What was your first experience in a bar?
My first experience in a bar, Dean's Tavern, right on the border of Roseville and Little Canada. I think it's now called the McCarran's Pub.
Yeah.
I never had a drink until I was 20. Never drank, never. I have 5 older brothers and sisters, and they're good people, but I didn't want to get in trouble.
Sure.
And I was playing softball at Como Park, and they sponsored us with like a $30 bar tab after every game.
Mm-hmm.
Went in, no intention of drinking, drank a lot, got sick, went home.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Those first experiences
Yeah.
can be like that.
Yeah. Didn't need an ID.
And I'll bet you never thought at that time that you would one day own your own bar.
That was the furthest thing from my mind.
Yeah.
But it's ended up all right. And I love going to different places. I love going to the little country bars. I'll go down to Little Falls and head west. I'll go
and we
down and head east, and it's just it's so fun, and I enjoy being there because I just like watching how they do things, you know.
I've heard, and that's interesting because I've heard this said about people who work in an industry. If they go visit another place that does that, they're hypercritical when they walk in about, oh, what are they doing? Well, what's this? But maybe it's not so critical as it is just, oh, this is cool. I like this idea. I don't like this. You kind of give it that once over.
Absolutely. I give them every benefit of the doubt. The only thing that drives me absolutely nuts is when there's an event that was May 6th and I'm there on June 2nd and they're still promoting it. I was like, take it down.
Yeah.
And then I had a gentleman point that out in my bar, and I just about climbed the water tower.
Sure. Yeah, that's embarrassing when you've got something that's already happened. Yeah.
Do you have a signature event?
I don't have a signature event, and it's been 3 years. We really focus around St. Paddy's Day because it's such a great atmosphere downtown. And there's also an event that I'm not sure if it's going to happen this year or not. I sure hope so. But there's a downtown golf event, which is a mini golf pub crawl. But we all share in these days.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have a specific thing because spatially it would be tough to pull off unless I did something outside in the summer.
Yeah, and that's risky. I mean, you never know what's going to happen there.
It is, but I'm not, you
Yeah.
live and learn. You can do something, and until you try, you don't know.
Do you have a dog named Glen?
Glen the Bulldog.
Is that your dog?
He's my dog.
Okay, I saw that on the Facebook too. And
he's more of a family dog than he is a Rob dog, but
and the name Glen, that's just a great name for. I'm a big fan of dog names that make no sense, like Glen.
Well, Glen actually has a little bit of a history, and if I can share it with you real quick, I would love to.
Well, can he, or you didn't bring him, or we'll have you? You're going to speak for him.
I'm going to speak for him.
He
is named after a gentleman named Glen Santee.
Okay.
And Glen brought me back to the bulldog world. My sister had bulldogs growing up. I worked with Glen at Tanner's. Wonderful friend, one of my best friends of all time. His wife Betsy, I think, just retired from the high school, home ec teacher. But this is my third bulldog. Glen is. There was Red Hot Chili Puppy before him, Chili Hamilton, and then we got Glen. And Glen he's something else. But Glen Santee had passed before I got Glen the Bulldog, and I said if I were going to get another one, his name's going to be Glen.
Oh,
so that's pretty cool.
There you go.
He's named after my buddy.
That's a great story.
Thanks.
Does he ever make an appearance at the 9th Street Social Club?
Well, he has, but not when I'm open. Not everybody likes dogs, and I want them to feel safe and secure. And English bulldogs are the biggest sissies, but they have a look that makes them look
scary. Yeah.
He's just a sissy.
Well, I just brought that up because I happened to notice that. I was looking at your Facebook page, and I saw this big old bulldog.
He's
got his own Facebook page.
Very
okay.
Handsome young man.
He was wearing some Be Social gear, if I'm not mistaken. He was wearing like a T-shirt or something.
We pimped him out.
That's right.
If you're a bulldog named Glenn, you should have your own Facebook page. That's the way I look at it. So.
1N.
Well, we want to invite our listeners to Pubcast Live to make sure you stop into the 9th Street Social Club if you're ever in Brainerd. Easy to look up on social media, obviously.
Absolutely. Facebook page, 9th Street Social Club. Don't have a web page yet, probably because I've been doing other things, but Facebook is just a real easy way to communicate and send a message.
What do you mean you've been doing other things? You mean like working?
Working, yes.
Got it. Yeah. Not enough. It does take a lot of time to run all these Facebook pages and websites. It's a lot of work. No, I think you don't need it. I think Facebook's been good for bars like that, and it's just it's a good place to find Rob and his crew and everybody there. And we're going to put up some pictures. We have a website, so you can go to there and see some pictures of the 9th Street. And we'll tell you about that in just a minute.
Yeah. And by all means, go on that Facebook page for the 9th Street Social Club if you want to get some of these cool Be Social T-shirts and other paraphernalia.
Please do. New stuff always coming in.
Yeah, you're really active. New stuff all the time. It's really cool. Make sure you stop down and see them. Like them on Facebook. Never hurts to have lots of likes.
Doesn't hurt at all.
And
So I got to ask, as we talk about how these things are changing all the time, is that you that's designing, or your wife, or who's the brain power behind that?
It's me, and I've got a good graphic artist guy that he has this unique talent of being able to take what's in my head and show it to me. But these are all my ideas. I enjoy it very much.
So what you're saying is he just goes into that large cavern up there in your brain and he looks around.
There's a lot of empty space, but he finds the right spot.
He goes through all the empty stuff and he says, "Oh, there's something way over there," and he sees it.
Well, I told him, I said, I want a disco shirt, but I want, clean lines.
Yeah, I
don't
saw
want
that.
it to be too busy. And he
it's super 70s looking, right? The Niner. The Niner. I saw it.
The alter ego.
I had a T-shirt like that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And that was in the 2000s, right? Yeah. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. We're talking 70s. Sorry.
Yeah, because the disco was huge in the... Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Rob, this has been a pleasure. We thank you for stopping by to be on Pubcast Live, and we'll have to have you back sometime again.
Sure, I would love to do that.
Maybe really get into some of the science behind making these drinks.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to do that.
Yeah,
thanks for having me, guys.
It's been great having you. Appreciate you coming by.
All right. 9th Street Social Club. Look them up on Facebook, and by all means, stop by and say hi to Rob. That'll do it for this segment of Pubcast Live. Well, Thor, that was another fun interview with a great bar owner here in the Brainerd Lakes area.
They just keep getting better, don't they?
Yeah.
It just gets fun. Yeah.
I'm really impressed with the merchandise that he has come up with, and we joked a little bit about, wandering around a cavernous place. But I'll tell you what, he's very, very clever at how he markets Be Social.
Yeah. And what a great message. It's just a good, like he said, it could have been, what was it? Get Social was the first one, right?
Yeah.
But he just decided I can't do that. And it becomes Be Social. And the next, the rest is history.
We should come up with some marketing for our Pubcast. Like, do you have a cavernous area that we can, in that brand of yours?
I have a very large cavernous area that we'll have to look up his artist and have him wander around in there for a couple days and see if
he finds anything.
Trip on something or stumble on something.
Yeah,
I shouldn't give him such a hard time. It is cavernous up there, but he's brilliant. He's doing a nice job with all that space he's got up there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Very, very impressive. And like we said, he actually sells a lot of merchandise, and I think for a lot of bars, that's just that another additional revenue stream, which doesn't hurt.
Yeah, and they're having to do that too. I mean, it's always been important, I think, for bars, but it's becoming more. It's not just so the money either. I mean, it's just a fun way to market, and you're out there and people see it, so it's a great thing.
Absolutely. So, we've come to another end to an edition of Pubcast Live, and let's remind our listeners, if they would like to contact us, or if they have an idea for a great pub or a brewery or someplace they'd like us to explore, they should let us know.
Yeah, contact us on our you can go to our website at pubcast.live, that's .live, pubcast.live, or you can find us on Facebook at Pubcast Live. Drop us a line, and like I say, if you want to comment about anything, let us know how we're doing, or if you're enjoying the show, or like Ken says, if you have some ideas, there's lots of places out there.
Yeah, and you can even drop us an email. I believe that's on the website, pubcast.live, but if nothing else, it's info@pubcast.live.
That's right, and we're going to come up with our own merchandise. We already got a slogan. Why we love our bars. There you go, baby.
I'm loving it more all the time. All right. Well, please contact us. In the meantime, keep listening to Pubcast Live wherever you find your podcasts.
That's right.
And that'll wrap it up for this edition of Pubcast Live.